Hello everybody, it's Josie here. So I'm going to be doing my May TBR today. I have quite a big stack of books here. I'm hoping I'm going to get to all of them, it's the idea. But I do have some quite thick ones, so we'll see how it goes. So anyway, I've said this before, I tend to choose like a bit of a mini theme for myself every month. And this month it's very, you'll hear as we go through, it's very feminist, it's very right girls to something I'm really into at the moment. Well, I always have been into it, but it's just something I'm getting back into at the moment. There's kind of a load of autobiographies as well, and kind of the theme really is strong, wonderful, independent women, and kind of really quite inspiring stories, sort of rallying, inspiring stories. So that's kind of the theme for this TBR. So I'll start at the top, which slightly off topic, is this book over here, A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Now I realize this is not feminist in any way. It's LGBTQIA. So this book is, I've been dying to actually read this. It's been sitting on my shelf for ages. And I finally got the audiobook from my library. So I'm actually going to be listening to this on audiobook. But you've got the main character, I'm just trying to remember what his name is, Monty. Yeah, the main character, Monty. He and his best friend and his sister go on a bit of a trip around Europe. So this is 1700 and something at the time. So we're talking about sort of historical YA fiction. And the thing about Monty is he is a playboy, he's naughty, he's fun, but he's also very much in love with Percy, his best friend. And obviously at that time, being gay was illegal, very much frowned upon. And also he's a lord, he's meant to take over his father's estate when he comes back from his kind of European trip. So the way he behaves, the fact that he likes to party, the fact that he likes to drink, and the fact that he quite likes boys is something that his father finds disgraceful and is trying to, in many ways, beat out of him. So it sounds like it's going to be great. You know, you've got nice queer romance in there as well. I'm really, really looking forward to this one. So yeah, so I'm reading this one this month because I finally got my hands on the audiobook. It doesn't really fit my theme, but you know. So then the next one. So this one over here, this is hefty. That's why I'm saying I've got some quite big books in the stack today. So this is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I keep saying that wrong. I read Never Will Wake, which I actually really enjoyed. But as far as I can tell kind of from reviews and what people are saying, people actually prefer this book. And this book is a thriller about a young girl or a teenage girl who's found dead. And everybody thinks that it is a suicide. But a journalist actually, kind of thinks it might not be and starts to investigate the suicide. And what I love about this book is, let me see if I can find, you've got like multimedia content in here, like really, it's really interesting, pictures, like bits and pieces. You've got emails. I just find the format and like the content of this book really, really fascinating and interesting. And I've kind of, again, been dying to I don't know if you can see that, get round to this one. So you can see there's like a case file. And I do love a good thriller. And I have been told that this is apparently really good. So really excited to get to this one. The next one is this book over here. So it's A Record of a Spaceboard for You by Becky Chambers. I love the series. So I've read the first two books. This is the third book in the series. And it's all set kind of in the future, in space. So essentially it's sci-fi. However, Becky Chambers writes these beautiful, complex characters and friendships and love stories. And she plays with gender and relationships and species. And it is so beautiful and it's so beautifully written. And each story can be taken kind of independently, but I've been reading them in sequence. This is the third book, so I've been dying to get my hands on it. And look at that gorgeous cover. So this one I think is about Tessa, who is the sister of Ashby, which is another character that we met previously. So like I said, even though I think you can read them out of sequence, I think it'd be nice to know sort of who the characters are that they're talking about. And it really focuses in on her journey. And each one kind of, like the first book had sort of more characters. The second book that I've just read kind of really focused in on two central characters. And then this one sounds like it might have a few more. But really these books are, yes, they're set in space, yes, they're sci-fi, but they are so much more about relationships and friendships and, you know, overcoming differences and seeing people for who they are, or species for who they are, and I love the way Becky Chambers writes. So yes, I'm really looking forward to that. Really cool characters in those. Then to get to my stack of non-fiction and feminist books for the month. So we've got this one over here. This is Educated by Tara Westover. I'm probably the last person on planet to read this again. I did buy it and hadn't read it yet. But so those of you that don't know, Tara was raised in kind of it was like a bit of a end of days or doomsday cult in America. And her family was very religious. They didn't, thought the world was going to end, kind of religious nuts. She never went to school. They were kind of kept in their little compound thing. I never taught anything. And then at the age of 16, Tara left home. And she realized that there was a whole world out there, and that she just didn't know anything. And she proceeded to educate herself. And this is kind of the story of how she ends up going to college to really, kind of from those beginnings to where she is now, really sounds incredible. I think it's going to be really inspiring. So it's one, again, that I've been dying to get to, and I'm doing it this month. Then the next nonfiction for the month is this one over here, Zami, A New Spelling of My Name. And this is by Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde is a writer, she is a feminist, she's a civil rights activist, and she was born in the 1930s in Harlem, New York, as a black woman. And this kind of tells her story of just her life of surviving where her circumstances, the fact that she was queer, that she's a lesbian, again, black lesbian in that era. And I think it's going to be really poignant and really fascinating to read. This one, again, has been one that I have been dying to read. Sartre is another one that I need to read, but I just think, I think, again, it's going to be inspiring. I think it's going to be interesting. And I also expect this to be heartbreaking in the sense that what we do to people just because they're different. So, yeah, I think that'll be good. And then the next one, this is probably going to be a bit lighter, but The Rise and Fall and Rise of Brix Smith Start. So, again, this is an autobiography. Brix Smith Start was a musician. She was kind of involved in the post-punk scene, in the Hollywood scene, and this is kind of her roller coaster life. So being involved in music and Hollywood and all of that, I'm expecting it to be really fun, really interesting, really maybe shocking at points. And yeah, just that whole kind of atmosphere, California, the 1980s. I think that's going to be really good. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. And again, she is such a strong, amazing woman that I think it'll be inspiring as well. And also sort of how to get yourself, so when you've kind of been at the bottom and when you've sort of lost everything, to rise up again and find that strength in yourself, I think that's going to be really inspiring in this book. That's what I'm hoping for. Then the next one is this one over here. It's Wicked Women by Faye Weldon. I think I was going to call her Whedon. So this is a series of short stories. It's really funny, I've had a rocky relationship with short stories. So I went through a period of reading short story collections that I just hated. Everything I picked up, I didn't like. And then this month, I've actually had a really good run on short story collections. So I thought, why not hopefully continue that run and pick up this one? So this one, it's called Wicked Women because it's about women with an edge. It's, again, very feminist. It's very like, women aren't that kind of sweet and cutesy all the time. They have edge and they can be wicked. And apparently this is really, really good. I've read a lot of reviews saying that this kind of short story collection and the stories in it are very varied, different women from different walks of life, but it's supposed to be really good. So I'm looking forward to that one. The next one is this one over here, The Last Days of Leda Grey by S.E. Fox. So this one gives me very much vibes of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So this one is actually set in the this talks about Leda Grey, who was a silent film actress in the 1920s. And again, there's a lot of mystery that surrounds her life. And a journalist comes and he kind of uncovers her story and what happened in her life. So again, I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm hoping it lives up to the Seven Husbands kind of tag. I think, yeah, it sounds fantastic, and I'm expecting it to be really good, kind of in that vein. Then the next one I've got here is this one here. It's called Keeping the Moon. And this one is, again, one of my all-time favorite tropes. It's about female friendship, and it's about two girls. One who has always kind of been a bit of an outsider. She was fat, she lost weight, but she still didn't fit in her town. And she sent off, I think, to Mexico. I'm sorry, I'm reading the back. I think she sent off she sent off somewhere else to stay with her eccentric aunt. And she kind of falls in love with this town a little bit, and she gets a job in the local diner, and then she meets another girl that works in the diner, and they form a really, really good friendship. So it's all about female friendship, girls supporting girls, and yeah, I think it's just going to be a lovely, light, beautiful read. In that same vein, we have got Done Dirt Cheap. So this one again, you've got two female characters, two girls, I think they're around 18. One, Tourmaline, is, so her circumstances, her mother is in jail, and it was her testimony that put her mother in jail, and her father is the leader of the local biker gang, so very Sons of Anarchy, if you've seen that. And then the other character, her mother kind of sells her to a like a DA or an attorney who's hell-bent on bringing down the biker gang. And he basically sends her in to infiltrate this gang and kind of get close to Tourmaline and try and help him bring down the biker gang by doing that. But of course, these two girls form a friendship. So it's one of these things where, at least this is what I'm hoping it's going to be, is where, you know, friendship overcomes the differences that we have and our different backgrounds and our different pasts and our different beliefs, and you can, you know, that power of friendship. Also, I love the biker gang element. I'm not going to lie, huge Sons of Anarchy fan. So that sounds really good. Then the next one is this one here. So this is Rose of No Man's Land. So this is Michelle T. I adore her. I adore her writing. She always tends to write sort of queer 1990s, so set in the 90s, kind of queer girl fiction. This one just sounds wonderfully bonkers. So I'm just going to read the synopsis because I don't really know how else to describe it. So the synopsis is, 14-year-old Trisha Driscoll is a gender-blurring, self-described loner whose family expects nothing of her. While her mother lies on the couch in a haze and her sister aspires to be on the real world, Trisha struggles to find her own place among the neon signs, theme restaurants and cookie-cutter chain stores of her hometown. So again, finding yourself, being who you are. I think this is just going to be, I just expect this to be great. I think this is going to be great. I love Michelle's book. So then we're getting on to my very right girl pile. So this one over here is Girls on the Side. So this is this book is set again in the 1990s around the riot girl movement and around the bands, and you've got a main character. I'm trying to remember what her name is. Tabitha. So you've got a main character, Tabitha, who is there's some cool fat representation here because she is fat, and she used to have this group of friends, and they're now the cool girls, and they don't want to hang out with her anymore because she doesn't look the way they think she should look. So she's really struggling. And then she goes to a concert, she goes to a Bikini Kill concert, and she finds the right girl. She finds this group of girls who make feminist zines, who, you know, aspire to be more than just something to look at and to be pretty and to attract guys. And in this as well is a kind of a female romance. So I think, yeah, I think this is going to be awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. Then the next one is Moxie. So this, again, total riot girl book, really. So you've got the main character you've got two main characters, again, girl friendship, and they are kind of fed up with the sexist dress code and just the general sexism in their school. And inspired by one of their mothers, who used to be in the punk rock movement and into the sort of the riot girl movement, they decide to create their own feminist zine to kind of promote girls and sort of fight back. Again, this is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to read that. Then the next one is Watch Us Rise. So this one, again, is very much, so you've got these two female characters, friends, who they're really interested in drama and art and poetry, and they just want to make their voices heard. But again, it's a bit difficult with all the kind of the din around that, and being a young woman, it's hard to get your voice heard. And they start like a club for young women to really make themselves heard, to promote their art, and to stand up and be tough and be strong. And that's also got the right girl symbol on the front, which automatically made me purchase this book. And then the last one is Girls to the Front. And this is the true story of the riot girl revolution. So this again is non-fiction, and it talks about the whole riot girl movement from the 90s, the bands, the scene, everything that went on in that. So feminist as fuck. Sounds like it's going to be fantastic. Will give me more insight into the scene. And I have a stack of these kind of non-fiction books at the moment, but this is the one I'm getting to. Try to get to some others, and I'll do like a whole video on that anyway. But yeah, so that is my lot. wish me luck. I will speak to you all again very, very soon, give you my thoughts on these books, and have a good day. Bye-bye.